The rain had turned the city into a mirror, each alley glistening like broken glass. Mills ran hard, his breath ragged, the sound of his shoes slapping against stone. Ahead, a shadow slipped between walls, the chase twisting through darkness and echo. Amelia cut across, her movements sharp, trapping the figure beneath a flickering streetlight. He froze, hands raised, eyes wide not with defiance but with fear. For a heartbeat she saw not a criminal, but a man cornered by ghosts. "Talk," she demanded, her voice steadier than her heart. His lips shook, and only one word came through the rain. "Lydia." She hesitated, pen gripped tight in her pocket, the moment stretching thin as paper. The figure darted past, vanishing into the maze before she could act. Mills caught up, fury etched into his scar, his voice sharp. "You let him go." Amelia stared into the rain, the word Lydia circling her mind like a worn-down path. The ballroom glowed with chandeliers, every surface polished to hide the night outside. Mills adjusted his collar, looking out of place among the laughter and crystal glasses. Amelia kept her eyes sharp, notebook hidden in her coat, scanning faces that smiled too easily. At the center of it all, Lydia Harrow floated through the crowd, her poise untouchable. She greeted donors with a smile that felt painted, every word rehearsed like a well-worn play. Mills muttered, "Masks don't last forever," as he sipped and touched champagne. Then the toast rose, glasses lifted high, the clink echoing through the hall. Amelia's gaze locked on Lydia's glass, etched into the crystal was the same symbol from the docks. Her breath caught, the realization sharp as shattered glass underfoot. Lydia laughed, but her eyes flickered, just for a second, betraying the calm. Amelia leaned closer to Mills, whispering, "She's not just a widow." The mask was cracking, and the truth was beginning to show its teeth. The warehouse reeked of oil and rust, shadows stretching long between crates. Mills swung hard, but the fight ended fast, a blow sending him crashing to the ground. His old leather strap watch slid from his wrist, face cracking against the concrete. Amelia pulled him up, her movements precise, steady where he faltered. "Stay with me," she snapped, dragging him behind cover as footsteps retreated into silence. Among scattered papers, she found ledgers marked with shipments, Lydia's name scrawled in hidden margins. It was enough to paint her guilty, enough to close the circle. Mills pressed a hand to his ribs, his breath shallow, his eyes not on the papers but on her. "A woman like her doesn't run this alone," he muttered, voice rough with doubt. The broken watch lay between them, its hands frozen, time refusing to move forward. Amelia stared at the evidence, certainty burning in her eyes. Mills only felt the weight of someone else's hand guiding the pieces. Mills sat in the half-light of the precinct, his ribs aching, his watch lying shattered on the desk. Amelia spread out the papers again, her fingers tracing Lydia's name like it might confess on its own. "Everything points to her," she said, frustration sharp in her voice. Mills shook his head slowly, smoke curling from his cigarette, eyes fixed on a different page. The handwriting was too neat, the ledgers too precise, care taken where chaos should have been. Like a photograph retouched until the flaws disappeared, someone else's hand had drawn the lines. He tapped the margin, the name E. Farrick signed on legal slips no one had noticed. Amelia froze, realizing the widow was only another pawn in a larger game. The calm attorney, silver pen always clicking, had been orchestrating it all. Mills exhaled, the weight of it pressing deeper than the pain in his ribs. "Not her," he murmured. "It was him all along." And for the first time, the path forward looked clear and far more dangerous. The courthouse was dim, its walls echoing with the shuffle of papers and restrained voices. Mills leaned against the railing, his side aching, his watch still broken in his pocket. Across the room, Elias Farrick stood in silence, his silver pen confiscated, his eyes unreadable at last. There was no outburst, no grand confession, just the quiet collapse of a man who had pulled every string. Lydia sobbed openly, her composure gone, the mask shattered beyond repair. Silas Crane sat in the back, shoulders lighter, the limp less noticeable as if years of weight had lifted. Amelia stood beside Mills, notebook closed, her steady presence holding him upright. For once, he allowed himself to lean, exhaustion and relief settling like ash after fire. The case felt like a worn-down path finally ending, footprints fading into fog. Mills lit a cigarette, eyes softening as he watched smoke dissolve into the dim light. "Fog always clears," he whispered, though his voice carried both hope and doubt. Outside, the city waited, veiled and restless, but for the moment, still.